Use OBS, you're right.
Use the Force, Luke.
Sometimes truth isn't good enough.
I feel the need for speed.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna?
Cause it's their time. Their time. Up there. Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here.
Welcome back, Wardens of the North. Winterwolf here, King Z coming in a quick second for FrostCast episode 13. We're following up on last week's super successful edition of sequels that absolutely ride or die by all of its fans. Today, we're going the other way, though. Now, I'm going to bring King Z in right now so we can just get right to rolling. King Z, we're going to be talking follow-up to last week. I think this is a great idea. We're going to do sequels that absolutely nuked franchises from orbit. And we got a couple other things, too, just in case. But before we get cracking, we appreciate everybody showing up and chatting over the last few shows. It's nice to see a little channel growth. Please keep it moving forward. Like, share the stream out. Watch the videos later if you have to. Comment. Stay on topic with us, guys. You know, we're having like detailed discussions lately. We're a little bit more focused, and we'd love to hear from you guys. So if you got a sequel that sucks that you know it nuked a franchise of yours, please feel free to include it as we go. King Z, I think we did this last week where we put obvious ones right out there right away, and then we kind of didn't talk about them a lot except for Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yep.
I wanted to do something similar this week where I said, like, right out of the gate, I'm just going to say, I don't have a whole lot to say about The Last Jedi because everybody knows that's a sequel that derailed some stuff for 50% of the fan base right off the rip. So I don't even want to mention that one. And then there was another one I had, and it's eluding me off the top of my head already. It's been a very long work day on the Winterwolf front. So do you want to go first? I think I went first last time. Did you want to pitch a franchise killer to throw out there to begin with? And these aren't, guys, this is just a background that we threw together. It's just a mishmash of things I found on the Google images. It's not representative of our picks. So what do you got first, King Z? What's a franchise killer sequel?
Yeah, and that's the part that I really want to stress, that these movies that we're going to talk about aren't just bad sequels. There's tons of bad sequels out there that didn't live up to the hype. I mean, you could go with the whole even number, odd number of Star Treks. Odd numbers made less money, even numbers made better money. But those were also better movies. I mean, look at you have the motion picture. First one, you know, people are reaching out. It was it like 10 years after the original series ended before they did the first movie.
Yep.
Second movie, Wrath of Khan, bringing back an enemy from the original series. Great movie. Then you have 3, The Search for Spock, kind of low key. Then you have 4, The Voyage Home. Boom, another big moneymaker. So a lot of these can follow that, but we're talking about really, really bad sequels, that it was so bad that the franchise itself was killed. Like, you lost viewership, you lost people who cared about the story, and you saw diminishing returns that if they even tried to do a sequel after this one.
So what do you got for your first pick? Because I can connect a first one just based off of your example that you just went with Star Trek. Did you have a specific Star Trek sequel that you wanted to talk about for how bad it was? Because one comes immediately to mind for me within that franchise.
I do not have a Star Trek on my list. What I do have is a 1997 movie that was created, a franchise that started in 1989. It had a numerous amount of movies. It had 4 different actors to play the lead role in it.
Where this is going. And it was brought up in a private Facebook chat earlier.
And the movie is Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
So this movie
off to a banger start.
Destroyed the Batman franchise. Just in the level of how bad the acting was, the catchphrases. Of course, Tim Burton was gone. Tim Burton started this franchise in 1989. He was no longer part of it. I think he left after this third one. He left after 2.
Schumacher did 3 and 4. Yeah.
And then Batman and Robin, which, I mean, looking at it, it should have a star-studded cast. You had Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. You had Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You had Chris O'Donnell as Robin, and then you had George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. I will not call him Batman.
You also had Alicia Silverstone as Barbara Gordon.
That's
which
right.
was that was peak or entering peak. Well, no, it was probably peak Alicia Silverstone, 90s, right?
And I don't think she was actually Barbara Gordon because she wasn't related to the commissioner. She was related to Alfred in the movie.
Alfred, yeah, you're right. But her name was. Oh no, wait. I don't even think she wasn't Barbara Gordon at all. The password I remember that she used was Babs. Was her grandmother's name, Alfred's sister. Yeah. She was a Pennyworth. I can't remember what her name was. Who cares? Whatever. It was still Alicia Silverstone. She's definitely part of that star-studded cast. You also had in that movie, if I remember right, there was I can't remember her name right now. Bruce Wayne's girlfriend in the movie was like a prime supermodel back in the day. I think it might have been Elle McPherson, as a matter of fact, like peak physical attractive Elle McPherson from like 97 was Bruce. Hey, Travis, what's going on, dude? You showed up just in time for terrible sequels. If you missed the intro, yeah, we're doing terrible sequels that destroyed the franchise. We're starting with Batman and Robin, which not only nuked this franchise from orbit for like the better part of a decade, it kind of put superhero movies on notice for at least when did Blade come out? Like 2-3 years later? It took them a couple of years to recover.
I think Blade came out right around the same time.
Maybe it did. Maybe it proved that it could be done correctly after this had gone so poorly. So I know this came out. I don't remember. It was, you said 97, and I was in college. It was my first year away from home when Blade came out. So yeah, I had to put a clock on myself. Either which way, yeah, dude, this did irreparable damage to the brand. Okay, there we go. So Blade must have been around the next year or two, but it did irreparable damage to the franchise. Batman Begins took a long ass time to get itself together after that, taking things in a completely different direction. Dude, I don't know what was worse, dude. It was a full reboot, like industry wide, of showing that you had on the one side the neon colors of Schumacher's Gotham, and on the flip side you get the completely bleak in tone and colorless Christopher Nolan Gotham, which arguably is better, by all qualitative standards. But then you do lose a few elements of the fantastical, which ties into what we're talking about in our second topic, where we do more of Batman's rogue gallery brought to live action. I actually think if you remove Poison Ivy, Batman Robin works well as an homage to the 60s. Dude, it could, but I feel like it went way overboard. I mean, I saw a Red Letter Media video a while back where they counted up how many Mr. Freeze isms Arnold had to go through, and the numbers in like the low 30s. Like that's a bit much.
And to give credence to what you said there, Travis, the best part of that whole movie is when Robin goes, "Holy rusty metal, Batman," and then he points out like it's holy rusty metal.
Dude, that wasn't even Batman and Robin. That was Batman Forever. That was the end of Batman Forever when they're raiding the Riddler's base.
Okay,
full of holes. Yeah, dude, I remember. Dude, yeah, that wasn't even that movie. They don't even have that. This movie had the stupid Bat MasterCard. Don't leave home without it. We're not sponsored by MasterCard. I'm not trying to give them the pinch. But dude, these guys, you could tell this was made to sell toys to kids completely. Like they had all those stupid ice skating figures with the black bat suits with like the gold and the white like emblazoning and all kinds of stupid shit that they were trying to hawk. It was just bad. It was a bad movie. I'm glad it took a break from that. That's a great first pick to get it rolling.
Yeah, over the top
objectively
acting,
terrible.
Everyone trying to steal the scene when they didn't need to. They didn't work together.
Bane completely wasted.
Yeah, a stupid Bane.
So much bad. Vader, right? Wasn't it Vader? It was WCW Vader was under the stupid.
Yeah,
Bane
he was the big
version,
and then the small version was I don't even remember who played the small version.
Oh, the guy they had to inject with the venom. Yeah, I don't even remember. It was bad enough that I don't care to even go back and look. Oh, yeah, dude, that's what I'm doing, Travis. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, just next time you're in line at the self-checkout, just remember that. Remember we had this talk, bro. Remember that. Dude, I want to loop it back if I could to leave Batman be for a quick minute. I want to go back to Trek real quick because the first one that came to my mind, and dude, I don't know if you and I have ever talked like modern Trek, really. Where are you at fan-wise with Trek? Just so I know how deep to go down this rabbit hole.
I mean,
I know you know what it is, obviously.
Oh yeah, and I've been watching many of the new shows. I have seen pretty much all the movies though.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, good. So, Insurrection the last TNG flick that they made destroyed Star Trek movies for a long ass time.
Isn't it the one
Came
where
in
Picard's clone was the bad guy?
Yes. Played by screen debut Tom Hardy, I believe. I believe that was his first live action role. That's Tom Hardy is Shinzon. Dude, so bad that they had to shelve all future movie plans because they got such a terrible ROI. It's notoriously awful, and it's one of the few things Trek fans almost universally agree on, that the TNG cast stuck around, one movie too long. The movie before that also didn't do that well. That was
Generations, wasn't it? Or First Contact?
No.
First Contact.
It was First Contact, Insurrection, and then, dude, I'm blanking on it. I'm thinking of the movie with Trek that had
Nemesis.
Shinzon, but that wasn't Insurrection. Nemesis, thank you. Thank you, Nemesis. Insurrection I liked, which wasn't good. Thank you, whoever had the Nemesis. If that was Travis, I appreciate you.
Yes.
Good cover. It's Nemesis with Shinzon. That was the bad one. Insurrection, also not good, but that set the stage for the Shinzon Nemesis movie being so bad that they really needed to rethink their strat. And that's what I was just starting to say, that the TNG cast stuck around a little too long. They had shifted gears away from any kind of sci-fi adventure into like full-on action ridiculousness. You got Picard in this one driving a dune buggy through the desert, firing like a full automatic phaser rifle and crap. And it's not Trek. So it took them a long ass time to come back from that. But that one's awful. Nemesis, get out of here.
Okay, all right. So the TNG ones was Genesis or Generations first. That's one where they brought Kirk into it. Then it was First Contact.
Yep, it was a good one.
Is Insurrection
one, which is
the one with the
widely
Borg?
considered the best one?
And then
no. First Contact is the Borg, and then Insurrection is the one where they're supposed to relocate people off of a planet because they're trying to take a certain resource from their atmosphere or something that the Federation needs on the heels of the coming Dominion War stuff. They like a healing. It's basically Bacta from Star Wars, and so you get the whole like the ethical debate, which Trek usually does well. About do we forcibly relocate 200 people so we can make the medicine that'll save 10 billion lives? So they cooked that in there, but it by objective standards, it wasn't great. I enjoy it. It was all right. But Nemesis, good God, I don't want to stick around on that any longer than I have to.
Yeah. So the Next Generation, I thought I liked more than the original series, but I like the original series movies better than the TNG movies.
I think most people would agree with you. Like I had half finished the point and I forgot. I'm losing track today, bro. I think people around the time Insurrection and Nemesis were out, if I remember my dates correctly, DS9 was already in a pretty good full swing. Definitely by Nemesis anyway. And people wanted that cast to show up on big screen so they could get Cisco, they could get Worf with a different cast, they could get Kira, they could get Odo and some of the characters in DS9. Because if you've ever seen any of the DS9 stuff, much darker in tone. It gets into some of the dirtier side of the Federation stuff that Roddenberry wouldn't have liked, with the Section 31 and the changelings and Enemy Within kind of stuff. That made for a great show. I would have been down for a trilogy of those characters. I loved all those characters. You had the Doctor on that show. Bashir was a good one. The Cardassian, what was the Cardassian's name? That he was a tailor, but he was really an exiled spy from Cardassia. That was a great character. Not Ducat. Was it Ducat? No, Ducat was the bad guy. Garrick. Nemesis is the Tom Hardy one. Not good. Yeah, that's the Trek sequel that I wanted to bring up. What else do you got for negative sequels or franchise killers?
Before we get to my next one, let's look at Travis's here, which I do totally agree with this.
Yep. Wait. Spoilers, guys. I have not watched Cobra Kai yet. I know I'm in dereliction of my duties. It is on my to-do list. I've heard this about. No, you can put it back up. It's good. We can read them out. I've heard that much about the show. Definitely. Karate Kid, terrible sequel, but Cobra Kai has done so much with the movie and the show. Retroactively made a lot better. Dude, that's what I've heard consistently. That's why I'm interested in actually watching Cobra Kai, knowing that the show is basically a love letter to the OG movies.
And the thing is,
like how the Duffer Brothers did Stranger Things.
After Karate Kid 3, it never got its steam back until Cobra Kai, because after Karate Kid 3 you had the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank, and then after that you had the Karate Kid where you had Jackie Chan take over the Mr. Miyagi role and actually set it in China, which even though it had some cool moments, Will Smith's son is not a good actor, so
I'll give the kid credit. I was told he did a lot of his stunts and training montage stuff. He did a lot of that himself. Some of that took absolute athletic ability to do. The movie was garbage. The fight scenes were way more brutal than I thought they'd let 12-year-olds get into. So that kind of took me out of like the enjoyment. Like it's one thing to watch, like when you're a high school kid and you watch a high school kid fight, you're like, all right, cool, whatever. But like that kid was like 12. He got kicked in the face. Like, I don't know, man. But I'll say this: they had that one great scene in that movie for a crap sequel that nuked them until now. They've got another movie coming out. I don't know if we've talked about that, you and me, that involves Ralph Macchio, the Cobra Kai guys, Zabka. They're involved in the new one. But the only good scene from the Karate Kid with Will Smith's kid is the one where Jackie Chan destroys the car and then they do the crane kick thing together through like the snappy emotional music. That was a decent scene, but the rest of that movie utterly forgettable. Utterly didn't make any sense at all.
So for my next one, we're going to stick in the sci-fi genre here.
Let's do it.
And it's one we've talked about that was just James Cameron's Death Note, and that is Terminator Genesis.
Dude, I don't even know what to say about. I don't know what to say about Terminator after Salvation. Honestly, about anything. And I'm going to add in a movie, and then I want to let you talk about both of them. I would say Genesis isn't the franchise killer here. Rise of the Machines Part 3 is the franchise killer because it's exactly, it does everything we hate. It subverts the heroic sacrifice and the end point of T2. No, none of that shit you did counts. Sorry. Like, no. They earned every bit of the whole thumbs up into the molten steel thing. And you're just like, oh no, you didn't prevent Judgment Day. You only delayed it. Like, no, fuck you. No. But what burned you about Genesis? Like, was it just so bad on a technical level? Because I know that irks you.
Yeah, it was
even on a. Was it bad?
It was a bad movie. It was badly produced. It was badly executed. You had retconning of everything from the first two movies.
Yeah.
You destroyed beloved characters, and I mean, even after Dark Fate, I mean.
I don't think anybody cared at that point.
Like I said, the only sequel after 2 that I actually cared about was Salvation, because it was a sequel I thought should have been the natural Terminator 3 movie.
Yep, dude, you and me both. I have nothing. Dude, we're definitely the minority in that. Some people crap on that movie like it stole from them, or like it insulted their mom or something. Like I never saw it that way at all.
I wanted to see the future war and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, the only thing I might have done different to that, I don't. Maybe people get hung up on the Marcus. What was that actor's name? Was it Marcus Worthington that played the cyborg who didn't know he was a cyborg? Like I think that's Marcus Worthington. I think is his name. Or no, Sam Worthington. Sorry, Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington. Yeah, that's.
I think people hated that angle, which I'm like, dude, they were just trying something new. I did like the future war stuff. Seeing young Kyle Reese was kind of dope. I like that. Is he's kind of figuring out like how to fight and resist and do the stuff, and he's the one that's going to teach John what he knows later and all that. That's all good. The only thing I wanted more out of that movie would have been like nighttime stuff, like how we actually got the glimpse of the future war in the original Terminator.
Okay, yeah,
dark kind of noir. We get that purple indigo scenes, do laser blasts, red skull eyes and shit, like very anime but live action. I could do it. I could do a whole movie of that. We know Genesis is an obnoxious headache for sure. Oh, dude, what did Travis have to say with it? The car scene from Karate Kid, fantastic. Also, Mr. Han, I'm reading another comment, dude, my bad.
Yeah.
Mr. Han stopping the bullies without hitting any of them. That was pretty good. But I didn't mind Miyagi absolutely dropping the Cobra Kai dojo outside that fence. He even got one of them in the nuts. That was pretty funny. Sorry, I'll just take that. But again, they were all like 17, 18-year-old punks and high school kids. These kids were 12. It ain't right. You can't hit a 12-year-old. You just can't do it. Yeah.
Different culture.
I mean, you could. All right, Kingsy, we got a challenge to the Salvation love here from Travis. You read this one. This is you.
Salvation lacks the energy and aesthetics of James Cameron's future sequence, but tonally is the most fitting sequel after 2. The Terminator feels real and scary, and Bale is awesome as John.
I would, I would agree. I don't think that wasn't a challenge flag. Sorry about that, Travis. I think you're right. I think Bale very underrated as John Connor. Coming off of the Batman Begins success, I was ready for him to see like a John Connor in his prime doing exactly what he did. He gets off the helicopter and the boot just stomps the T-800 skull, cue the music. I'm like, okay, that works. He's John Connor also. Makes sense. Yeah, dude. So I think Terminator has plenty of the franchise you could pick from. I'll keep it sci-fi if you want to keep that ball rolling. I think we can dip into some horror sequels in a little bit. Pick your poison with the Predator. There's a bunch of crap in that franchise, but the one I think that absolutely demolished it for me is the most recent one, The Predator. That movie was not only is it structurally stupid, the story's kind of dumb, right? It involves us. They want me to believe now that the retcon history for why the predators do their thing is they're trying to hunt species to obtain spinal fluid so they can derive from their DNA the best traits of the trophy that they killed, so to make them more survivable. So they were killing humans to take the spines to get our spinal fluid for what trait I don't know. In the movie they suggested it was autism because they thought the little kid that clearly had autism was the next in line for human evolution or something. And then the two lead villains in the movie, that the human guy who was on the show Supernatural, I can't remember his name, he was one of the hunters, shoots himself in the head with the Predator's plasma cannon and just F's out of the movie. Just like, I'm good. This movie sucks. I'm leaving. And the CGI Super Predator, like, dude, bigger isn't always better, especially when you shoot it during the day. Like, they had to go back and reshoot it at night. Oh, dude, dumpster fire, dude. I laughed my ass off the entire way through, bro. It was so bad. Like, Travis, do you remember the part where the Predator's in the back of the personnel carrier, and the driver's driving, and there's some shit goes down behind him, and the driver asks, "Hey, are you okay?" And the Predator holds up the severed arm of another soldier with the thumbs up, like through like the portal between the driving cabin and the rear. Like, the Predator doesn't do that. He's not Freddy. Stupid. Thank you. Yes, awful, stupid. He shot himself in the face, dude. He was the only one, but I think he understood the movie was garbage, and he was just.
Was it Sam or Dean?
No. He one of the other hunters, not Sam or Dean. Like, one of the other people. That, as a matter of fact, Sam had to kill him. Black dude, I can't remember his name. He was in there for a hot minute too. He was good. He played a psycho. He played a pretty good psycho. Yep, great series. I just watched it earlier in the year. I just can't remember all the other side characters' names. He was a recurring antagonist on the show. But yeah, dude, the Predator was bad. I know a lot of people hate AVP Requiem, but like, I don't think it nuked the franchise. But I don't think maybe it didn't nuke the franchise, because we got Prey after it, and we're getting Predator Badlands next year, taking the Blade spot actually on the calendar. So maybe it didn't nuke the franchise. It should have. It was awful. Like, I have nothing. I can't comment on any more about how bad it was. The humor was bad, I guess. Yeah, when he holds, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it was so stupid. I just can't. I just can't. Like, juxtapose that with like the tone of the first Predator movie and how effectively that movie gets through what it's the story it's trying to tell, and then just hold it up against the Predator. It's embarrassing. More embarrassing that Shane Black worked on both. Like, dude, what happened to you, man? You used to be cool. All right, Kingsley, what else do you got?
All right, so I'm going to take it back to the 80s one more time. We talked about 180s franchise, that the last sequel killed it. And I'm going to this one. And I believe this movie actually killed Christopher Reeve. Not being paralyzed did. And that is Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
On my list.
So bad. Where they threw the nuclear weapons into the sun. But somehow, in that big bundle of nuclear weapons that got thrown into the sun, Lex Luthor got a box that had Superman's hair in it that grew into a whole person who came down to challenge Superman. Was it Sun Guy or whatever his want to call him?
Nuclear Man, Atomic Man, some asshole with teased out blonde hair. Like, oh my God, dude. Dude. So do you have the date in front of you for Superman 4? Do you remember what year that came out? That had to be like 80. What? It had to be like late 80s. All right. So how long after that did it take them to greenlight Man of Steel? Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. Like, that came out, I think, in like 2005 or something.
Was that the first one, or was there another one in between that?
They did. Smallville was in between, but Brandon Routh was the live action return. Yeah.
And then they also had Lois and Clark with Dean Cain as Superman.
Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. Yep.
Yeah.
True. But the big screen, nope.
Yeah.
Wow. Brandon Routh, and he only got one crack at it.
And that's the thing is
Really
that
got one
actually
crack
my
at it.
brother knew Brendan Rath because he went to high school with him. He was a senior. My
Oh, no
brother
shit.
was a freshman. He was from
Cool.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Oh, dude, I'd definitely be down for the first. Yeah, dude, when you're a kid, definitely you can accept them, but I'm not even really that great with 3, to be honest with you. It didn't nuke the franchise or anything, but like I think once I saw Kneel Before Zod, I'm like, all right, I think I'm good here. This is as far as I need to go with these movies.
3's the
And
one
then,
that had
3 and
Richard
4 were
Pryor in it.
Richard Pryor. Yep. Yeah, for sure. All timers 3 and 4 are not, but 1 and 2 have a special place in my heart, like Travis is talking about here with the first 4. We'll watch Smallville. Man, 4 was terror, dude. It was just bad. It was just bad. Brandon Routh, I think he got a bum rap with Superman Returns. I'd like to see him come back as like a Kingdom Come age Superman. Get the gray in the temples. Guy's still built because I think he showed up on one of the didn't he show up on the crappy DC Flash show when they were doing Crisis on Infinite Earth or whatever their Flashpoint or whatever their version is? I think he showed up
Crisis
as Kingdom
on
Come
Infinite
Superman.
Earth.
Yeah, I always mix up the franchises there. There was also Supergirl and Steel. Yeah.
Yeah, Steel.
And both of those were terrible.
Oh, poor Shaq.
Stop trying to put Shaq in movies. Just stop.
No,
Leave
Shaq
him
works
be.
good in movies that have Adam Sandler in it.
Yeah, or something like Scary Movie 4 where he's like completely spoofing on himself and missing a free throw with his foot. You know, like that's I think the only one you can do that. I don't know how you can get away with it otherwise. But yeah, dude, that's Superman's. I feel like superhero movies in general, we could probably pick a nuke sequel from. Like think of the X-Men. I wasn't even none of them made my list. I just wasn't thinking of them. But plenty of them X-Men X3, garbage. You and I have talked about the new group. You like a couple more of them than I do. Yeah, that's awful. But I think you like Apocalypse, if I remember our chat. I really
like certain aspects of Apocalypse, not the movie itself, but I like certain aspects. Yeah. Like you finally got Archangel, you finally got Psylocke. The perfect casting for Psylocke.
Yes,
the casting they had for Apocalypse.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
Star Wars fame. Well, Star Wars fame now.
Yeah. Actually, that came out after he was Poe in Force Awakens.
Did it?
It released before Apocalypse Now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shoot, time flies when you're watching a bunch of crap. Because that happens, dude. I gotta hit you with another '80s one though, because I want to stay on the '80s vibe for a minute. moving out of like action, moving out of horror, moving out of sci-fi. Rocky 5, Street Fight.
This
Fake Don King
now.
Tommy the Machine Gun.
Yeah, Tommy Machine Gun.
I didn't hear no bell. Like, dude, you must have heard a bell because you must have had a concussion approving the screenplay here.
Well, that was the thing with this. He had enough concussions that he couldn't like actually box anymore.
Right, dude. But the problem was they want me to believe that they gave not only they gave his accounting power of attorney over to Paulie, but that
why he was in
Adrian
Russia.
Let that happen. Dude, like you gave power of attorney while you're a millionaire to like your best friend, alcoholic brother-in-law. Like, really? You stupid son of no. Dude, it was an excuse just to have them fight, not in a ring. That's it. Yep. They're like, we had the Russian, everything was big soundtrack, fireworks, the blah yada. And I love Rocky 4. Don't get me wrong, I'm not making fun of it. But no, Rocky 5 was so bad. Like, again, what's the gap in time between that and Rocky Balboa? Which is the perfect send-off to a franchise, just like John Rambo was the perfect send-off to that until they made Final Blood or whatever, Last Blood. Dude, disagree on Rocky 5. Dude, Travis, did you fall? Dude, blink twice if you need me to send an ambulance, my brother, please. Did you hit your head today? Dude, Rocky 5 is off. It's terrible.
Your last line, I totally agree. I do like the Creed, and then how he was portrayed in the Creed as the mentor now.
It's a good transition. Good, and sadly he wasn't in 3, I think.
Yeah, because
I haven't seen
he passed away.
I heard
he passed away
Stallone got
into
disinvited.
They had his character die.
Maybe I think that might have been for real life reasons that they wrote him out. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta go back and rewatch it too. Maybe Travis is onto something. Maybe it's one of those movies that I have to go back and rewatch now older that I might be able to appreciate something out of it. Because because I had that experience a little bit the other day. I don't know if I told you, I went back and I watched Alien versus Predator Requiem because people make fun of it for me. It's too dark to see anything and what's going on and this and that. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I watched it in like 4K at home. It wasn't that dark on my TV. Like maybe it just when it came out, it was terribly formatted. I don't know. It was a standard action. All the pretty people die kind of thing. There was some gruesome shit in there. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's definitely not worse than I would say something like Covenant, like Alien Covenant. That was terrible.
Yeah, that was pretty bad
Give it a
too.
fair shake. Yes, I don't know. I'd have to go back and actually watch the Creed stuff just to see. I heard it's good. Michael B. Jordan's good. I'm sure he plays probably a solid role there. You got another one you want to throw in? You want to stay in the 80s? You want to bump over to horror? And God only knows there's some terrible horror sequels.
Well, actually, not many horror actually made my list that I was going through because I was really looking for franchise like killers. Yeah, and this one
and horror actually has 75 parts.
Yeah, so I'm bumping this up
got?
to this is one of the true killers because there was actually 3 movies planned after this one, and all of them got nixed after this one. And it's a 1987 movie. There's only 2 installments in the franchise. And the second one was that bad that it killed it. And it has Sandra Bullock in it. We're talking about Speed.
In the 80s?
90s.
Oh, okay. All right. Dude, in my head, I was thinking horror. Because I was looking at my list of crap that I wasn't going to bring up. Dude, I have Cruise Control on here as well. I don't know what else we could say about Cruise Control. I mean, they were onto something with Speed. That movie made like $10 trillion. And like it springboarded Keanu Reeves into further stardom. It put Sandra Bullock further stardom and everything else. Mm-hmm. Dude, I don't even remember Cruise Control other than like it was on a boat.
Yeah, it was
which
on
I thought Cruise Control was a weird name for calling it a boat.
It was a cruise ship.
Cruise. That was a ferry or some shit. I don't know. I guess that makes more sense. Than I guess. All right.
And then they couldn't bring back the original lead. So they brought in another character and tried to recreate what they had with in the first one between Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves.
Who'd they bring in? I don't even remember who they brought in.
I don't remember his name.
I don't care. Travis probably knows. Travis, who's the male lead in Speed 2? He'll know.
Yeah.
He's got us for a couple other ones.
Yeah, because they never made another Speed after this. There's been no talk of a reboot of Speed. There's been no talk of anything of Speed after Speed 2. This is literally the meaning of our whole segment.
It's the title
that it sank a whole franchise. No pun completely intended.
No pun intended because it's a cruise ship. Dude, the only thing you know what I remember most about Speed 2 is that Family Guy spoofed it. And they had a Sandra Bullock character yelling at a couple of Eskimos on an iceberg that the boat was coming. It's doing 2 miles an hour and we only have 20 years to get out of the way. We have to leave now or something. Yes, Jason Patrick from Michael from Lost Boys. I could see his face. I couldn't think, dude, Lost Boys is a pretty banging ass movie. We should probably talk about that separately one of these days. And none of the crap sequels, because I think there's like 2 of them now. I think they made a Lost Boys 2, and then I think they did a Lost Girls. And no, it's not that kind of fun movie you'd see on another website. Lost Girls. It's not that, guys. Put them away.
But, I wouldn't know about those websites.
And it went clearly not. Now, the fact that Fast and Furious has 25 installments and Speed doesn't, I think you're right, dude. I think that might actually win like the title from the video. Like it might win the cup.
That's
like it might be Speed 2. Nobody, dude, who talks about it? Dom, you're gonna die. There's no oxygen in space. I don't need oxygen.
Family.
I love that meme. Dude, that was a great month when all those memes ever. I know people got sick of that. I did not give a flying fuck. They were the best. I loved having my Facebook wall full of that. Dude, Dom, they forgot to put extra cheese on your Whopper. Don't matter. That family. I'm like, dude, that's hilarious. It just is. I don't care. Whatever. I'm a wolf of simple pleasures, dude.
Completely off topic here.
You got another one? You got more? What are we doing?
No, this is completely off topic. So someone took the description of Adam from the Bible and put it into AI and had AI create what Adam would look like. And he looks like Don Toretto. He looks like Vin Diesel. So that's why he has family. That's why family's so important to him. Everybody's related to him.
I mean, listen, it checks out. AI in the meme image checks out. We're just let it roll. Run it. I figure he probably had more hair though. The AI needs some work still. Still needs some work. Dude, let me give you one off my list here. Hold up.
Okay.
We did Batman and Robin. We did Superman 4. We did T3. I have Speed 2. Oh, dude, here's one. And this might be controversial because I know you like your sci-fi. I'm pretty sure you're a Michael Crichton guy. I'm pretty sure you like a bunch of his stuff. I'm saying everything after the first Jurassic Park is awful and should have killed the franchise like an asteroid. It hasn't. I don't know why they keep making these movies. Most of them I don't think perform very well, but maybe it's kids and dinosaurs. But story-wise, none of them compared to the first, and I would have liked to have seen this franchise killed rather than see it go on now 5 additional films.
I do like the newer ones, the one with Chris Pratt in it. I like those.
Dude,
I think they're
Fallen Kingdom, dude.
They're kind of fun.
Clones, human clones.
Yeah, it gets
They're
stupid towards
They're
the
bad,
end, but I like I don't know. I just like giant dinosaurs. Not including the Jurassic Park is such a phenomenal. It is a
I'm with the giant dinosaurs. Yeah,
in cinematic history of the change into the modern era of filmmaking. Jurassic Park is that moment. That
for sure. But I think about how smart something like the OG Jurassic Park is, and then when I look at the new trilogy, like they want me to believe that the dinosaurs got off the island, repopulated parts of the world, including like developed cities like Chicago. We get pterodactyl nests on top of the Sears Tower, and that somehow they want me to believe that like the Marines didn't go in there and bulldoze them. Stop! I can't do it. It does not compute for me. Like I've suspended all my disbelief. I can't do it.
Well, you know how they got off the island. They did the same.
We moved them.
Yeah, they moved them off the island, and then they all got released.
Right, but in a span of 2 years, they're now nesting in multiple places, and the United States is okay with this. Russia's okay with this. China's like, oh, cool, raptors in the valley. No, they're not bugs. They don't reproduce in 5 seconds. You know, can't do it, dude. What we got here? Oh, dude, you're definitely not in the minority. I don't think Lost World probably is probably a 60-40 splits. I mean, you're in the minority, but I don't think you're in a small minority. What do we got here on Travis about Dominion? Would have been better if they brought back Vince Vaughn's character instead of Dodgson, revealing he was the villain the whole time. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, one of my complaints about the most recent one was that they brought back, I think they tried to un-TLJ Jurassic Park. They brought back Laura Dern's character. They brought back Sam Neill's character. And then they met with Jeff Goldblum at the end and didn't do much. And they were just there because they're like, we're the legacy. We're the big trinity of this franchise. We're better than Star Wars because we didn't forget about you. I don't know. I say that as a guy wearing a Hoth hat and a Star Wars t-shirt, but I don't know.
Well, at least they didn't kill them off.
20-minute subplot of Peter Stewart. She says with the stick, right? Yeah, dude, exactly. But that's Jurassic Park. I don't know. I wish it had been franchise killed, and it's not. There's another one coming that ties into one of the stories that I wanted to add in a little bit later, with Blade being off of the Disney offering for next year, and I think indefinitely. That means Mahershala Ali, obviously free to move on. He's working on the next Jurassic World sequel with Scarlett Johansson. So they get more, and I don't know. I'm not enjoying them as much as I'd like to. All right, give me another movie, or are we on to the Rogues Gallery? What do you want to do? We're moving along, but I don't know if you have another banger on your list you wanted to get on. I think I'm good. I think I hit up most of them.
I got one
maybe
more.
The Matrix, like honorable mention.
And I think
let's do one more piece quick. Yeah, let's do one each.
So I think this one really set a actor's career on the downward spiral because you started learning more and more about how he was on set, especially later on in his career. And then tragically, he got a disease where you find out what was going on with him. And I'm talking about A Good Day to Die Hard, 2013. I think it was the movie that killed the Die Hard series. Bruce Willis. Yeah. Like his career kind of started really tainting after this one. Because I mean, he got removed from the the Expendables movies?
Expendables.
Because of his work ethic. Then you had the whole Kevin Smith.
He was phoning it in. Yeah.
Talking about when he was on Cop Out. He worked with him on Cop Out and how he was there. And then it just came out like how he has such a bad attitude. And he's like, he plays up that I'm the star type thing. And then, he had like one more movie, but then he got removed because he got dementia and he got that disease where he can't talk anymore. So
Yep, he was out of the game. I saw a bunch of things just uncovered on coverage on Bruce Willis as he declined from like a medical standpoint. I'm like, oh, that could explain a lot of what's going on, like the whole showing up to set and requiring an earpiece and like people just feed you the line and how to say it, like say this angry, you say "fuck you, I'm out," and then like that's it. That's what you get out of him for like whatever his day rate is. So that was sad, definitely. I'm gonna do my last one real quick. I think the Matrix Revolutions tanked that for a hot minute because I think I know they told their whole story, like that they did come over, they did the full around thing. Neo is basically the Jesus analogy, just like Superman gets the Christ mythology to him. But I think that there were more stories to tell in that world. Zion's a thing. There could have been other stories elsewhere along the same time that they could have done. But they put that on ice. They they had a really popular online game. The Matrix Online did really well for a good long while, I've heard. And then this other piece of trash came out like 2-3 years ago now. Resurrection, like, oh God, put it back in the ground.
Yeah.
So I think Revolutions killed it because it was just the movie itself was just too convoluted. They really tried to play up the whole we're smarter than the people watching the movie. We've read a couple of philosophy books. So if we say 1,000 words to make a simple point, it'll make us sound smart.
Yeah, especially with the whole interaction with the architect in it.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. That got spoofed on every single comedy venue ever where like they would just get an old white guy in a white suit to just talk in circles for 10 minutes and just somebody else in like the all black Neo and the shades just be like, that's awful. Revolutions. But all right, let's switch gears before we run completely out of time on crap sequels. I'm working on a transition for this exact situation. All right, bring me up the other background. Fired up.
Oh wait, didn't you want to talk about the news segment before we done this last one?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I mentioned the Blade thing briefly. That's on the outs indefinitely now. We have been talking about that all year intermittently. It's been too long. They announced this like 5 years ago. Ali's on other projects that are like AAA and shooting now, like the Jurassic World 4 or whatever they're on. So he's definitely out of the game on that. I doubt that they have some kind of sick power play to bring in Wesley Snipes to replace him because he's not going to be playing second fiddle to Blade's daughter in his own movie. That's never going to happen with Snipes. The guy's got notoriously has an ego the size of like a pumpkin. I'm using a Halloween reference there. Giant ego. Great at being Blade, but he's not going to play second fiddle. We love Secret Invasion on the channel. We don't.
You should go and check out our review. It's on our channel. I think we have a whole playlist on it.
Yes.
So you don't watch our episode to episode review of Secret Invasion, not Secret Wars. That's the movie.
Yep. That's what Matt called.
That came out.
That's what I'm calling it.
As we sat there and went in with high hopes and left.
We did.
With lower than accepted expectations.
Dude, we were, I was going to say, to be fair, we were sweet summer children on that one. We didn't go in guns blazing, and I think we enjoyed the first two. Like, I remember coming, especially with the shootout on the highway. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, we liked the bad guy. He was good. But then his point, like, they lost focus on him, and then they
evaporated that.
Then they made the Emily Clark character a super scroll, so...
Dude, I mean, did they have a level higher than Omega Mutant because she's that now? Like, it's like I don't get it, and it's stupid, and I never want to see it again. But it's funny that we did go in, ready to. Hopefully, they were improving, but like as contrasted against something like Ahsoka or the show we don't name, where we're just like, this is going to be bad, and it's getting worse, and King Z's soul is dying a little bit at a time. Week to week on Thursday nights with both of these shows, more so with Ahsoka. To be fair, you maintain solid objectivity with the show that will not be named, without a doubt. But and the other real quick, the other news thing was just I had caught a headline that said the Matrix, not the Matrix, John Wick. It was Keanu. John Wick has a prequel series coming through, I think on HBO Max, but it's going to be animated. And the reason I wanted to bring that up to King Z and get his take on it is I think that this is an underutilized technique in being able to do prequels of old franchises or things that star aging actors, because it would be tough to get 60-year-old Keanu Reeves. He's in great shape and he can shoot. We know that. I've seen the range drills. My man can handle a fire, right? But he's already slowing down a little bit in John Wick. What are we on, 4? Because I think we just saw 4.
Yeah, just 4, and I think he's gonna.
Right, so
He said that he's gonna end it at 5. He said he would keep doing it as long
Right.
as people want to see it. But I think his
and then
body.
he turns 60.
Yeah,
Right. This is exactly my point. So if you want, and if they want me to believe this is a John Wick prequel, you can't de-age digitally, even though the tech is coming along and it's improving every year. His body is still, however, old.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to do the deep fake thing over another actor's body, and then you got to worry about all that kind of stuff.
Animated is the perfect way to go.
Animated. They could do, think of all the wild crap you can do in anime you can't do in live action. You're going to get John Wick standing on a rotating helicopter blade, shooting in all directions and hitting everything without missing. It's going to be crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward. I saw that headline. I just wanted to get your take on the de-aging in the
Oh yeah, I think the I think animation should be used a lot more in certain movie genres. As I've mentioned before, and I'll die on this hill, that Mistborn needs to be an animated series. The book series by Brandon Sanderson. I think animated, that would slap. If you did like a 15 episode run, so you could really iron out the depth that is Mistborn, the first 3 books, and then you have like you to do season, take a break, and then do the time hop and go into the next 4 books, and then do the second era of Mistborn. That's the beautiful thing about Sanderson's writing, is that it never really ends. He does time hops, because I mean, from the 3rd book to the 4th book, there's 326 years in between.
Yep.
So
dude, I don't know how this guy's agent hasn't made this happen. I don't know how his management hasn't like gotten a deal with somebody for any adaptation. I mean, maybe people have offered and he's just like, no, this isn't. Like, no, you want creative control? Nah, bro. I could see that.
I could
100 now that I think of it, I could see that. Travis had one that I just wanted to hit real quick. Again, dude, I don't know if you're in the minority, because a lot of folks I know, Ahsoka, I mean, as a character, pretty solid. She was terrible on the show. On a character developmental wise, she's pretty good. She goes through a fairly decent arc. So I think she was all right. And Maul, given what they did with him in Clone Wars versus how he came out in the Phantom Menace, where like he had 2 lines of dialogue, which included like, at last it's time for revenge on the Jedi, and like the one other line he had, like I think he got a little bit more bang for your buck. And then I think the Halloween franchise would translate well as an audio drama. I think we actually talked about that. I think a couple of shows ago we were talking about how technology is kind of coming circular and people are listening now more to audiobooks and podcasts and radio plays, like how they had back in the day before we even had television.
There's so many talented voice actors out there. People like Michael Kramer, R.C. Bray, Matt Mercer,
James Marsden, Dresden Files. Love that guy. I'm going to mention Dresden Files once a week.
Sir Tim Gerald Reynolds. I mean, just to list some of my few that I just listened to. Nick Podell. Like if you need an accent or like a weird voice, Nick Podell is your guy. Just listen to The Land and seeing how many different voices.
I still have it. It's on my list. It's on my list, dude. It's next. I got to finish Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm still on that. I put that down for a while.
He also does The Name of the Wind, the King Killer Chronicles. He did book 1 and book 2, as we're still waiting 15 years later for book 3.
Yep. I have the print versions of those. Those are on my TBR also. Dude, let's jump in. Oh, okay. There we go. Let's jump into the next big topic, since we're actually going to run short on time, but I think maybe we just whittle it down and close out by our limit. So we were talking about, you guys have seen on our other live stream we did on this past Monday, we're covering The Penguin from HBO Max. And we're pretty high on the show. We're not doing ratings because we're enjoying it that much. So what we decided we were going to do with our second topic this week was The Penguin is giving us a pretty good look inside a good mob drama. We got crime families. We got like an underling on his way up who's making moves. Like it's kind of a traditional crime story. But we were wondering, but if we kind of brainstorm between us, what other characters could we pluck from Batman's rogues gallery and bring to live action? And I know most of these have been done, or some of them have been done on shows like Gotham and elsewhere in the Arrowverse, but those are kind of, to me, they're dopey. And I'm not sure, like, I don't care if somebody else did the Joker, or if somebody else did Ivy somewhere. Like, whichever one King Z wants to bring up, we're going to hear his pitch for a live action version of his. And then I have one for myself. And if we have a little bit extra time, I have a couple of other smaller ideas. I don't know how much you would put together or kind of preordained for yourself. But
so one,
what do you got?
I need to know parameters. Are we talking just
Okay.
live action? Are we talking like the Joker movie parameters? Or are we talking putting them in a world like the Penguin, the Batman world?
Yep. Now, see, this, I'm glad you brought this up because I think the Joker world is too hyper realistic, and I wouldn't even have fun trying to adapt some of the wildly creative characters that DC has in the Rogues Gallery. So, not the Joker. I think the Batman, the Penguin, and maybe slightly to the more zany side of that, because I had one honorable mention pick that I was really fascinated with. But give me your best pitch for a character you'd like to see, for better or worse. You can play around with reality a little bit, but like, let's keep it semi-believable, but not thoroughly fully grounded.
So the one that I would go with, if we're gonna, and I want to set this in the Batman because I think the Batman's world is great because it's more realistic, it's more gritty,
Yeah.
and you could really tell someone like some of these characters wouldn't fit in that world because it
Right.
doesn't have the supernatural effect, it doesn't have the zany world as you said it. I think it's a
Yep,
more.
I think zany is a good word for it. Yep.
A more
No Justice League dark, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a more real. So I am going to go with the Red Hood, Jason Todd, as a hitman for the mob, and he just covers his face, or he wears a motorcycle helmet, kind of like how they introduced him when he first started coming out. He had a motorcycle helmet before he got to the full technical helmet that he had, and like he's a professional hitman. I think that would fit well, and I think that story to be really told well. I mean, you can't really play him as the true Jason Todd as the second Robin, right. But I think the story that is the hitman who started going like justice is one bullet away. Like he picks up where justice leaves off, and he does more than what Batman does because he believes in the same philosophy I do. Batman says, if you kill a murderer, the number of murders doesn't change unless you kill two murderers. If you kill two murderers, then it has decreased by one.
I saw a good panel of Red Hood the other day where so I don't remember who was asking him, but he said, you can't solve all your problems with a gun, and he replies, "That's why I brought two." Okay, that makes sense. That's sound tactical doctrine. Dude, that's a good dude. Did Red Hood in the Arkham Knight game? He becomes Arkham Knight in the game, right? Was that the story progression for him? Do you remember? Did you ever play that? I know I thought it was Jason Todd that became Red Hood, becomes Arkham Knight in that game. It was just kind of a lingering question in the back of my head.
That was him.
Yep. Travis, what do we got here? When Robin Williams was still around, I think the ventriloquist would have translated very well to live action. Two personalities who's taken over by his own monster. I mean, do it exactly because that's just that's psychosis. Like that's very doable.
Mobster.
Oh, my bad. What did I? Oh, mobster. Oh, yeah. Which I guess would still make him a monster. So I think there we go. I think that would work because that's kind of a version of the take that they did on the Riddler in the Batman movie. Like he's just creepy, weird dude, like probably on the spectrum. No offense to anybody. But it was still grounded. So I think King Z's pick for Red Hood was good. Does that mean you abandoned trying to do something like Clayface or something like Killer Croc?
So if we were going to do Clayface or something like Killer Croc, I think you would need to go into
zany world.
If we're doing it live action, maybe in the new James Gunn universe, we haven't seen what that actually going to look like yet.
It'll have fantastical shit without a doubt.
Yeah, because I mean, he's starting with Superman
in it, and they got Green Lantern. I mean, you're probably right for that. See, because I had two picks that I wanted to run. The first one that I've mentioned in our Penguin coverage, Scarecrow. I wrote up just to flex the creative muscles a little bit. Did a little background that was kind of based on his original print background. Bullied, ends up killing the bully, ends up killing the grandfather that abused him. Becomes fascinated with fear and how he can control fear to manipulate others. And I thought, a show set in Arkham that has characters like Hugo Strange making appearances, maybe running Arkham. Maybe there's a power play there. Maybe Jonathan Crane's Scarecrow can run into Harleen Quinzel before she becomes Harley, where she's still just a normal psychiatrist, but we can see her starting to crack along the way. You could do some other stuff there too with he's developing the fear toxin in a way to kind of use on himself so he can explore his own fear and learn how to better elicit more fear in other people. I think there's a way to mix up these kind of concepts with wildly out there things like Dexter or like House and just invert some of like the house stuff where he's, instead of solving inmate problems, he's kind of making things worse for his own ends. And then you can do the conspiracy if people can't find out that he's doing illegal experiments and stuff like that. But I think you could be super dark. I mean, we see elements of that in the Penguin, where they're giving Sophia the electroshock therapy. You know, like Arkham's not like a $50,000 a month private recovery center. Like, it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's evil and grimy and corrupt. And that's why she got sent there. You know what I mean? I think something like that works. A neat spin of Scarecrow would have been him losing control of his own toxin and being stuck in a situation with other people. Yeah, dude, definitely. I mean, you could absolutely bottle that up into an episode for sure. That's a great take on that. But the fantastical one that I wanted to run by King Z, because I think this is zany world adjacent and doable, but I'm not sure. I think you'd have to allow for some weird stuff, even if it's not supernatural. But dude, I was thinking Solomon Grundy. You get like a good like Frankenstein story out of there that maybe people tried to do some supernatural stuff they didn't understand and got it wrong, and then they had to. I mean, he's a little bit more durable than most people in this version, but then they're trying to hunt him down, so it's Solomon Grundy on the run until like he decides he's going to turn the tides on them and just go full Frankenstein's monster. I mean, I think they had Born on a Monday, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Died on a Sunday.
Dude, I was going to say, dude, credit if you can do the whole thing. All 7 lines. So I thought that'd be a wild take. And then I kind of applied that same thinking to some of the other more like reality-based characters like Zaz. Like, he's basically just Jack the Ripper. Like, you could do an easy story about that. But I don't know, doing all the villains in live action, like, they have to have elements of them like the Penguin that make them likable enough to watch it for. How do you root for Zaz? How? Like, nope, can't do it. Dude's a sicko.
I think Zaz would work better in a show like Gotham, where you're following Commissioner Gordon as he's hunting down.
The main character's a cop, right?
Yeah,
but he can't star in his own show. Like, he can't be the lead.
No. Let's go back and look at these real quick again. Pull that back up. Like, some of these, they couldn't. Their story, their personality couldn't carry their own series. Like, if you want to continue the Penguin, like, the next logical step would be Black Mask, because he's a mobster. So that would be a logical next step for the Penguin. If they wanted to continue that type of story, the mob story, because he's the one who literally takes out all the families and combines them under his rule. But I mean, some of these, like we said, like, if you're going zany, you could put in Killer Croc, you could put in Bane, you could put in Clayface. We've seen Harley can't hold her own movie, even with Margot Robbie.
Because that movie was just terrible. I don't think that wasn't her fault. They just told a stupid Harley story. They need to put that Harley that's on the screen in the movie and let her be hot and psychotic and actually be Harley. Yeah. You know, she was broke down, self-insert Harley in their movie.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze wouldn't play that well, just because of his affliction and everything like that. It would be too hard to secure his motivation. Another one that would work. Ivy, I mean, other than the controlling plants thing, like, she could be a poisonous, like a Black Widow type series.
See, I had that in my notes. That was kind of my take on that.
Yeah, she could be that
controlling plant thing.
Yeah, using the controlling plant thing. Like, she'd have a love of plants, and she knows how to manipulate plants into poisons that she kills them. That's why they call her Poison Ivy, is because she kills people with poisons that she mates from the plants she grows. That could work.
Here's an obvious pick. I'll pitch it to you, dude. Why, I don't know why neither of us said it. Catwoman. I'd watch that show. She can pull off the anti-hero thing, the burglar with the conscience, if she wants to do it. The acrobat, the high tightrope walking, jumping between buildings, skirmishes with the law.
And technically, she's a Falcone.
Really?
Yeah.
So how is she a Falcone?
Because she took her mother's name. Her mother was a stripper that worked and impregnated by.
In the Batman. Okay, I was thinking
in the Batman.
Kyle. Oh, my bad. Yep, you were staying on.
But she took the Kyle name.
She's half. Yep.
Yeah, and then
that could work.
I think another one that would fit in that universe is, of course, Two-Face Harvey Dent. Maybe not the
I
acid on
believe
his face,
he's.
but doing the split personality type thing.
Isn't he in next week's episode? Oh no, I'm sorry. That was he was in the Joker movie. Never mind. He was in Joker 2, I was told.
Yeah.
Was
Oh, you
basically
saw
do nothing.
and you saw Harvey Dent in the Batman too, so he is in that universe.
Oh, and you saw Harvey Dent in Batman Forever, and you saw Harvey Dent in Batman 1, in Batman 89, played by Billy D. Williams. Classic.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams, and then he turned
Billy D.
Then Billy D. Williams turned into Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones somehow. That's all right, because the old chubby white guy from every Batman movie ever turned into what's his face for Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. So we play around with these roles. But that was a good list. I think we banged out a bunch of good options there. I think we touched on all the ones we could. I mean, you could do something like Hush, Yep, you could always see Azrael for sure. Would absolutely work in live action. I don't know as the lead though. He could be the antagonist in a show.
And I've heard rumors that the Batman 2 is going to feature the Council of Owls.
Oh, interesting. I'd be up for that 100%.
Yeah, I would like to see how they would do that, how that would pull off.
I'm not super familiar with that storyline. Would that tie in well with the Penguin? Because I've been told for sure that the Penguin is the launch board for the Batman 2 story. Is there an overlap there?
What it could be is like with the families killing themselves. This is a council of the people who believe they run Gotham from the shadows. Like they're the rich people that they meet, and then they're going to try to take out the Batman because he's taken away what they wanted, and because owls are the natural predator of the bat.
Cool. So they could go that route then. They could.
All right.
We'll just wait and see. Well, and then Travis has there's that new Batman Resurrection novel set between 89 Returns on the Street. Not familiar with that. I'll have to take a peek. I have a date set to go to my local comic book shop, so I'm to pick up a new copy of Daredevil. What's the show again? Dude, I can't remember the name. Your show coming out.
Reborn.
I'm
Which has a release
novel
date
based
now
on that.
too.
Yep. And a second trailer that got leaked from New York Comic Con that we were gonna watch, but we ran out of time and I didn't get it. Maybe we could take a peek at that when we're done here. But I think we covered our business here. Travis, thanks a bunch for stopping by again and keeping our chat moving. We appreciate you, dude, for sure. Batman 2 having him end up in Arkham, having a team with the Joker, Riddler, and his own other rogues would be awesome. That could be an interesting take. I'd read that book. I don't know how that I don't know how a movie would work on that. But dude, we'll catch you next week. Dude, tell your friends, bring some people. We're not shamelessly plugging at all. But we hate long goodbyes here. So unless King Z has anything else, he can do his long goodbye.
Well, see ya.